I'm KT Bradford. This is the Kobo Arc 10 HD tablet, and this is my review of it. I'm going to go over very quickly some of the things I like about this tablet, some of the things I don't, and give you overall recommendation at the end. So let's start with the software. This interface is a little different, actually a lot different from what you normally see on an Android tablet. Kobo has put their own UI skin on top of it, and so when you first, start running this, open this, this is the screen that you're going to see, and this is basically the latest stuff that you've been doing on your tablet with Kobo. So we have books that have been downloaded recently, also some recommendation stuff from Kobo, and even information about the authors of some of the books that you have downloaded. Also, there are some magazines. So this is sort of what's going on right now on your Kobo tablet. And if this was my profile, I would have my profile picture up here. And this is a basic screen you're going to see. It's very simple. But of course, over here, it has all the main apps that Kobo thinks you're going to be using, including Gmail, the internet, and Facebook. Now, if you just swipe over like this, you get to the regular Android interface. This stays over here, the little dock, but over here, it's business as usual. You can put widgets, you can put apps on the screen. Under here, you'll find all the apps. So this runs pretty much like a normal Android tablet, just with this Kobo interface over to the side, but it is one that you can ignore if you really want to, although I don't think that you should, because some of this is actually really useful. Sliding this way, we come to Kobo Collections, and here's the really great part about the Kobo is that it allows you to sort of collate a lot of different things, not just apps and widgets, but other kinds of content, books, video, pictures that you can put in these little collections, and it's sort of like pinning on Pinterest, and it's very similar to the Kobo Glows interface, which is all about pinning things to little different areas. And what I like to do is I like to put together the books that I'm reading with the short stories that I find on the web. So that is one thing you can do in a collection. But as I said, you can put a whole bunch of different things in here, including images, video, web pages, all that kind of stuff. And then of course, Kobo has some pre-populated collections, like there's a collection showing the books that you have in your library. The stuff that you want to read is the samples that I haven't bought yet, but I downloaded the sample, books that you've already read, and the magazines that you have. And these will be separated into subcategories as you see over here. So you have like a category within a collection. And all of this is very easy to navigate, so even if you're an Android newbie, you're not going to be totally tripped up by any of this. Like, this is pretty straightforward, and creating a collection is really straightforward. You just, tap on here, you name the collection, and then you can add stuff to it using the share dialog in any app. So if I'm, looking at something on the web and I like that web page, I want to share it to the collection, I just go to share, and then add to collection comes up there. So it's all really easy to do, and there's even like some getting started stuff, so that if you don't know how to do these things, you'll be able to figure it out. So it's quite interesting, very easy to do. And as you can see over here, it says learn how to add stuff to your collection. So it gives you a nice little tutorial if you don't know already. So one of the things about this interface, you only get the one Android home screen. So basically you're limited to that. But with a tablet, that's not as big of a deal as it is, say, on a phone. And again, you can always get to all of your apps this way, and you're getting apps from the Google Play Store. Even though this is the Get Apps icon does not actually look like the Play Store icon, this goes directly to the Play Store. Kobo does not try to put together any kind of app store of their own or give you an alternative app store. No, it's all just Google Play, which means if you really want to, you could download Nook or the Kindle apps onto here and read from any of the popular reading apps that you wanted to. Obviously, you'll get Google Play books as well, but Kobo, has this interface over here to sort of try to keep you within the Kobo world. Another thing to note is that Kobo has entered into a partnership with Pocket. So one of the collections in here is articles from Pocket. Pocket is very popular across the web. It is not a Kobo only thing. So wherever you add stuff into Pocket, be it on your phone, on your browser, etc., all your Pocket stuff will actually end up here on your Kobo, and then you can share these articles from Pocket to other collections. So that collection that I showed you before, the science fiction one, it contains a couple of the articles that I just like moved over here, or actually copied over here from that Pocket collection. And I really like Pocket for saving things for reading on the web. And when you read them on Kobo, you get a very nice interface. And this is, again, this is just the Pocket app, but it's well suited to reading, even when reading on a tablet like this, because it basically strips out everything except for the text and just lets you immerse yourself in long-form articles, stories, etc. So that's pretty much how it is for on the software side. I do really like this interface. It makes it really easy for people who don't know a lot about how to navigate Android to really just get in and start doing stuff and doing the stuff that matters, which is reading. Now, on the hardware side, this may not be the best tablet for reading things, and that's just, number one, due to the fact that it's a 10-inch tablet. There is a smaller size Arc, it's a 7-inch tablet, which actually might be better for reading, but this is actually really good for magazines, and I just want to show you what magazines look like on here. So you get full layout magazines just as you do on the Nook, and they're really beautiful, and you can do either portrait or landscape. I just have landscape in this video for simplicity's sake. The one thing that is missing, even though you can double tap and you know, move through the articles like this so you can read it, it's actually really interesting. And you can also tap to see, you know, to scroll through this way. This is all really nice. The one thing it doesn't have is a text-only option. So unlike with the Nook, where you can look at any article just as text, this doesn't really have that option. So you're going to have to do the different tapping and zooming stuff in order to read this article. I have done the tap zoom thing that you just saw. They gave me a little tutorial on a couple of times. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just easier to just, you know, pinch and zoom and just go to where you want. But having a text only option would just be a little bit better. And that is like basically the only critique that I have of this particular experience. Overall, it's quite nice, and it's definitely a step up from where we were before with Kobo magazines and Kobo books in general on a tablet. But this screen, which is really nice, HD plus screen, 300 ppi density, and so, you know, you're going to get crisp text even when the text is small. Has really good colors, like that a lot, but it is very glossy. Like, as you can probably see, you can see the reflection of my hand in the screen, and this becomes, it's distracting. It's not like totally a problem, but it is distracting, especially when you're trying to read, say, in a room with bright lights. It's also really distracting when you're trying to play games on this, and this is actually a nice tablet to play games on. The viewing angles are okay. Like, if you turn it to an extreme angle, you can still see what's going on, but the reflection and the glossiness sometimes cuts down on the visibility. And as I said, this is especially apparent when you're playing games, especially games that have accelerometer action going on. So that's kind of annoying. Otherwise, this is actually a really nice panel, but the glossiness is just, it's really, really annoying. It's also, it's not too heavy for a tablet. It's not the iPad Air, but it is not, you know, some sort of horrible heavy thing. One of the things I do like about this tablet is that it has a sort of, you know, interesting cut to the design. It's very much like the cut to the design on the Kobo Aura e-readers. And a lot of it is sort of like cool, asymmetrical, like futuristic looking stuff. Like, as you'll see, the speaker grills on the back here are not the same on either side. And then you have just like these interesting little angles going on. On the e-reader, this was to make it more comfortable to hold. Here, I think it's just mostly aesthetic, because holding this, while okay, because this is a soft touch back, these edges are tapered, so they aren't too annoying. But in general, I would just have to say that holding this is not like the most pleasant experience I've ever had, but it's also a 10-inch tablet, and there aren't that many 10-inch tablets that you can hold for a long time without feeling kind of like, ugh. So it's not, definitely not the worst I've ever had. It's not even close, but it's not light as air, as I guess some people would say. Another weird thing about this tablet is this button up here. This is the power button, and it's like a slidey power button. I don't know why Kobo insists on doing that, or why they insist on making it red. I don't know. And so it's an odd design choice, I guess, for them. But I guess it does make them distinctive a little bit. And otherwise, you have micro SD port and micro HDMI here on the side. There you go. And headphone mic jack. And you know, hardware-wise, it's pretty similar to a lot of other tablets on the market. Inside, you've got a Tegra 4 processor, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and that Tegra 4, obviously, it's quad-core. 2 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of internal memory, and we've got a front-facing camera here, and that one is a 1.3 megapixel camera. It's all right. It's good enough for video chat, and that's really all you need it for. Kobo claims 9.5 hours of battery life. I found it closer to 7 when I'm doing things like playing games and watching video. You will note no camera on the back. And you know what? That's just fine, because you don't need a camera on the back of a 10-inch tablet. Please don't take pictures with your 10-inch tablet. Please don't take videos at concerts. Please don't do it, people. It's just, no. So I say it's a good thing that this doesn't have a camera on the back, because what you really want the camera for is for video chatting, and that's why the front-facing camera is there. And as I said, it does a pretty good job of doing that. So it's Wi-Fi only right now in America, but it's actually really good dual band Wi-Fi with 2x2 MIMO and Bluetooth 4.0, Miracast support. Haven't had a chance to test the Miracast support, but I do, you know, it's really nice that it's there, because this is a nice multimedia tablet. And again, since it has Google Play on it, you're going to be able to do all your Google Play movies if you want to. You can also just plop Netflix on here, Hulu Plus, like anything you want, and then you'll be able to wirelessly stream all of that. And of course, this will probably work, well, this will work with the Google Chromecast, because Google Chrome is on here. It comes pre-populated with a lot of apps. Some of these I downloaded, but a lot of these are the apps that the tablet came with. Some of that is a little confusing, especially as there are like lots of different readers on here. Even though Kobo wants you to read their stuff, there's like Press Reader on here for some strange reason, but you also get a lot of social networking, Pinterest, Facebook. Not too bloated with the apps, but not everybody appreciates, you know, having this many preloaded apps, especially on a 16 gigabyte machine that does not have a micro SD card slot. So that also should factor into your decisions. So, my overall feeling about the Arc HD is that it is a decent tablet. In terms of performance, it has been very speedy, it's very responsive. Even though the screen does get a little smudgy at times and that glossiness doesn't help, it doesn't cut down as much on the touch sensitivity as I've seen with some other tablets and smartphones. And overall, it's just like, you know, really speedy and has been able to keep up with everything I've asked it to do, which is great. As I said, I really like this interface. I like the integration with Pocket. I like that you can slide that interface aside and just deal with regular Android if you want to. And you can download any app on here that this tablet will support. And it has some nice extras, like I said, like Miracast. I don't like that it doesn't have a micro SD card slot for expanding the internal memory, especially since at this price you get 16 gigabytes, which is not a huge lot for a tablet, especially a tablet that you want to do some games on. And in terms of what it gives you This tablet is definitely for people who are really into reading, but if they're more into reading books than they are into reading magazines, then actually I would suggest checking out the 7-inch one instead of the 10-inch one, because at this size, you know, reading is nice because of the display, because of the crispness, but this, you know, gets a little bit heavy as you're holding it because it's a 10-inch tablet, and that's just like the way it is with 10-inch tablets. Whereas with a 7-inch tablet, you get, you know, smaller size, lighter weight, more easy to carry, hold for longer without your arm getting tired. And I like that a lot. But for magazines, this is really great because you'll be able to see full color spread. You won't have to pinch and zoom as much as maybe you would with a 7-inch tablet. And you get, you know, you just get a lot more screen real estate. So it all depends on what it is you want to do with the tablet. But in terms of how this stacks up to the competition, right now, hardware-wise, software-wise, it doesn't have a whole lot over, say, the Sony Xperia Tablet Z. So it's, but again, if you're really into reading, or you want a tablet that is simple to sort of operate and not have to understand a whole lot about apps, this actually is a pretty good, you know, tablet to own for that demographic. So I'm going to have a fuller review on liliputing.com. Please check that out. This is KT Bradford checking out the Kobo Arc 10.